Hey buddies, welcome back to yet another history video. This time we're talking about the economies of the empires and how it contributed to fueling the tensions that led to the First World War. First of all, as always, we need to talk about what economic rivalry actually means. Economic rivalry means competition of different nations on the production of resources and money. So it's Britain and Germany. They're competing for who has been able to produce the most steel. The country that has been able to produce the most steel is thus the wealthiest country. And this is important because an economically prosperous country has the resources to crank up its army and its navy. It also has an advantage in the market as it can be trustworthy to buy and sell goods from. Now that we have established what economic rivalry means, we can talk about where it existed amongst. In this slide, we got Germany and Great Britain. That's the flags up there. So, let's read Britain's topic sentence. Britain was the richest in terms of resources due to its exploitation of said resources from its overseas colonies. So, if you can remember in the last video, we mentioned how because Britain was a small island, it needed to get its resources from other places. They used their colonies around the world to do this. However, we got a new not-so-friendly face in the scene. That's right, Germany. Germany, after its unification, industrialized very quickly, to the point where it was at competing standards with Britain, the biggest imperial power in the world. Germany's growth was most certainly a blow to the British, as by 1914, Germany had been producing more steel, coal, and so much more than them, even without their imperial status. That's a pretty big feat. Next up, we got the tensions between, you guessed it, Germany and France. Honestly, we didn't see this coming. Well, remember how France had lost Alsace-Lorraine? Well, this resulted in France's increased imports of coal, which shattered its economy. So France thought, look at that African country, not so far away from my other African countries. Ooh, it has a bunch of natural resources. How great, coal. Let me just introduce myself. As you can see, France was showing quite the interest in Morocco. However, Germany was on the lookout, and it was worried by France's interests. This suspicious dilemma actually gave room for the Moroccan crisis soon thereafter. And finally, we got the tensions between, drumroll please, not one, not two, but three great powers. Russia against Germany and Austria-Hungary. So we said in the last video that Russia was interested in the Balkans, which resulted in Austria-Hungary being even more interested in the Balkans. So, with both Germany and Austria-Hungary having well-established relations in the markets of the Balkans, and intrusion by Russia would put them both on high alert. So, you might wonder, what was Russia even doing that Germany and Austria-Hungary felt so threatened? Well, Russia was building railways by 1988, and thus, once completed, would allow Russia to transport its goods to the area a whole lot easier. Basically, Germany and Austria-Hungary wanted to prevent any chance of Russia expanding economically, so they were just big bullies about it. Just like in the last video, there are some statistics on the empire's economies in relation to the amount of coal and steel they were able to produce. We are once again not including Italy because Italy was the poorest of the countries, and once more did not play a great role in leading up to the tensions. So here's the steel that was produced in the millions by each of the great powers, and then here's the coal that was produced by each of the great powers, again in the millions. As you can see, Russia is the lowest. This will be very important later on. If you'd like to test your knowledge, here's a quiz on everything we've learned today. Number 1. What two provinces did Germany take from France? Alsace-Lorraine. Alsace is one province, Lorraine is the other. Why did France earn interest in Morocco? It had lost Alsace-Lorraine, thus needed a source of coal. Mention two ways in which Great Britain had surpassed Germany: its navy and its empire. From the statistics, that is from the statistics from the last slide, why are steel and coal so important for these powers? Well, the more steel and coal are produced, the more higher quality military equipment can be produced in case of a conflict. And of course, some exam-style questions as always. So, how important was economic rivalry in increasing tensions between the great powers? So, to answer a question that goes, how important was ... you have to first of all say, this is important, this is not important, this is extremely important. You have to use adjectives to explain how important something was. In this case, economic rivalry was very important in increasing the existing tensions between the great powers. That is what it was important at. Now, next up, you have to give an advantage, as in what good did economic rivalry cause and what bad did it cause. So the good that it caused was that as it prompted the powers to better their resource production capabilities due to the competition. So all of the powers were able to produce more resources and better their economy, which increased their wealth. However, this competition led to their increased suspicions between the empires, which led to the Moroccan crisis, further ruining the relations between the powers and bringing them one step closer to war. So that's a negative. It brought them a bit closer to war, as these rivalries led to increased suspicions. Woo! Once again, you've done it. Yet another lesson you've completed. Now, if you want, give yourself a pat in the back. I will for you. Pat, pat, pat. Thank you so much for watching, and here's me. Here's a nugget. Here's another. Bye, goo.